Good morning, everybody. Happy December 1st. You know why I'm here. You know why I'm excited. It's time to go over the Aardvark Book Club December picks. And when I was opening up the website, I did get a little peek, not going to lie. But I want to go over all of the picks with you. And if you want to join Aardvark Book Club, I suggest using my code TALKBOOKISH at checkout. It gets you your first book for only $4. All of that information should be in the description box, but let's go ahead and see what they're offering. All right, here we go. December selections. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's see. We've got 6 choices here. I just want to make sure. Yes. Okay, let's start here if we can. Who Wants to Live Forever by Hannah Thomas. I do not know how to say the last name. It's Uose. It's not even, it's in like different font too. Okay, this is an interesting book cover because the font changes depending on what color background you're looking at. Anyway, this is a romance sci-fi debut novel. I don't think I've ever read a sci-fi romance before. Have I? Okay, let's read what it's about. What happens to loving each other forever when your soulmate decides living forever is more important? Yuki and Sam are soulmates. They are destined to spend the rest of their lives together. They are supposed to love one another forever. But when a miracle drug is created which can extend a human's life indefinitely, Sam decides to live forever rather than love Yuki forever. What comes next is a time-bending, decades-long, world-building epic set across the globe and narrated by an intersecting cast of characters. Who Wants to Live Forever is the greatest romance you'll ever read without the happily ever after. Okay. This one sounds interesting. Of course, they have to taste the very first page, which I think is especially important for debut novels. So you can get a little taste if you like the writing. This one is interesting. Interesting. We have a historical fiction debut, includes a cat. I was thinking it from just the cover alone, it looks like it would be like a fantasy novel. Set in 13th century Bruges, this debut novel follows a young woman's exploration of faith, agency, and love among a community of fiercely independent women. Attempted sexual assault is a content warning for this one. Elise, is 16 years old and serious, stubborn, prone to religious visions. She and her only friend, a young scholar, have been learning Latin together in secret. But just as she thinks their connection might be something more, he abandons her for the monastery. When her family falls on hard financial times, her father promises her in marriage to the head of the Weavers Guild, and in a desperate, she runs away from home, eventually finding shelter within a community of religious women who do not answer to the church. Among the hardworking and strong-willed, Elise glimpses for the first time the joys of a life of song, friendship, and time spent in the markets along the canals. But forces both mystical and political are afoot. Illegal translations of scripture, the women's independence, and a sudden rash of miracles all draw the attention of an ambitious bishop and bring Elise and those around her into an ever-increasing danger, a danger that will push Elise to a new understanding of love and sacrifice. Historical fiction, vividly evoking a world on the verge of transformation. That was all a mouthful. So, yeah, $12.99. Wow, that is historical. So let me know what you think about that. I haven't even heard of most of these. So, all right, next up, this one. This is see how, like, remember how Book of the Month does like a year back? This is Aardvark's version of, like, in hindsight, because they call it like hindsight 2020 or 2025. From the acclaimed author of Miss March comes a riveting tale of a bloodthirsty governess who learns the true meaning of vengeance. So this obviously came out earlier in the year, but this is like a book that they like would have picked, but they didn't at the time. now they're here to do it. This is gothic fiction, satirical and horror, cannibalism, child death, animal death. Let's see. Grimwald's England. Winifred Noddy arrives at Inzer House prepared to play the perfect governess. She'll dutifully tutor her charges. Drusilla and Andrew tell them their bedtime stories and only joke about eating children. But long, listless days spent with the estate's dreary confines come with an intimate knowledge of the perversions and pathetic preoccupations of the Pounds family. Mr. Pounds can't keep his eyes off of Winifred's chest, and Mrs. Pounds takes a sickly pleasure in punishing Winifred for her husband's wandering gaze. Compounded with her disdain for the entitled Pounds children, Winifred finds herself struggling at every turn to stifle the violent compulsions of her past. French tutoring and needlework are one way to pass the time, as is admiring the ugly portraits in the gallery and creeping across the moonlit lawns. It plunges readers into the chilling mind of an iconic new literary psychopath. Wow. So I haven't read this one yet, and it kind of sounds interesting. So I don't like satirical books typically, but I don't know. Maybe this one would work for me. Okay, next up is Grace and Henry's Holiday Movie Marathon. I already have this book on my December TBR. Very excited to get to it. A sentimental advertising creative and a blunt no-nonsense foreigner finds a second chance at love while binge-watching iconic holiday movies in this poignant and heartwarming romance. Spice rating is low spice level, 1 out of 5. The new year had barely begun when Grace White and Henry Alder both lost their spouses. Now, nearly a year later, the first holiday season since their great and terrible sadnesses approaches. Although their mothers scheme to matchmake the two surviving spouses, it's clear that neither is ready to date again. Yet, no one understands what they're going through better than each other, and a delicate friendship is born. When Henry sees an ad for a Christmas movie marathon, once an annual tradition for him and his wife, Grace offers to watch some films with him, despite her aversion to a few of his picks. Her two young kids, Ian and Bella, also join in whenever possible, bedtimes permitting, of course. With each movie, Grace and Henry's shared grief eases as they start to see a life beyond the sadness. But as they draw closer, other romantic possibilities leave them uncertain about their future together. Is their bond merely the result of loneliness and shared circumstances, or have they found something that's worth taking a shot at again? So yeah, obviously I'm really excited about this one, and I definitely would have picked it if I didn't already buy it. So, and then we have Itch, which is a new release horror book. I'm trying to click on it. I guess my internet's just taking its time today. The darkly feminist horror novel Crawling Under Your Skin. Interesting. Sexual assault, domestic abuse, self-harm. This cover makes me itchy with the ants. Something moves on the forest floor. Josie is at rock bottom, burned out, heartbroken, and recovering from an abusive relationship. She lives a haunted existence after returning to her isolated hometown on the edge of the forest of Dean. But the tall, dense pine trees are not the only thing casting shadows across her skin. Josie's hopes of a fresh start are horribly derailed when she stumbles across a dead woman's decaying, ant-infested body in the woods. The grim discovery sends her into a downward spiral, forcing her to face uncomfortable truths about the victim and her own past, all while spatting the swarming black ants that seem to have burrowed into her mind and her flesh. Disgusting. As Josie struggles with infestations of all kinds, she scratches the surface of an age-old mystery. A masked predator stalks the forest around Elwood, a place deeply gripped by ancient folklore and strange customs. So when the village dresses up for its annual festival, Josie gets closer and closer to unveiling a monster and begins to ask, are these dark, crawling insects leading her to uncover the truth, or is she their next victim? Oh, I don't know about this one. Oh, it would just make me so itchy. I mean, it sounds really good, don't get me wrong, but it also sounds crazy. So who knows? And our last pick, another early release, The Once and Future Queen. And this is debut historical fantasy. Sorry, my internet's being slow today. I don't understand. The picture will pop in at some point. There we go. I really like this cover. I think it's beautiful. Okay. Outlander meets the Princess Bride plus Camelot in a fresh, big-hearted feminist time slip adventure reimagining the epic saga of King Arthur as told from the perspective of his funky and surprising queen Vera. Interesting. Let's see. Attempted sexual assault. Vera always knew she didn't fit in. When she learns that she's meant to be in another time, she leaps at the chance to embrace a new life in a world of valor, intrigue, and unexpected magic in this bold and romantic retelling of Arthurian legend. 22-year-old Vera is at a crossroads, waiting tables, grieving her previous relationship, and jogging aimlessly each morning as if toward an uncertain future. Then an odd man shows up at her workplace, insisting that she was once the legendary Queen Guinevere of Camelot and that her lost memories hold the key to changing both the past and the present. Somehow it all feels like the direction she's been looking for. But when she asks the mysterious man to tell her more about Lancelot, author, and a faithless queen, he can only say that much of what she's heard about Camelot is wrong. The truth, he claims, is something she must see for herself. After jumping through a portal, she's not prepared for what she finds. Magic is everywhere, but a curse on the kingdom means it dwindles every day. She has no idea how to perform a queen's duties. Her fast friendship sets gossip flowing. The stranger she must call her husband often refuses to meet her eye. Arthur is a puzzle, cold, forbidding, and while angry to her face, keeps leaving secret tokens of tenderness in her chambers. Worst of all, her memories and the answers locked within them show no signs of returning. If Vera is truly destined to save Camelot, she'll have to trust her instincts, and her king will have to trust her. Interesting. It goes from like modern day backwards. That is so interesting. Okay, so those are our crazy books to choose from this month. Yeah, crazy. What a lineup. Okay, so let me know what you think of the picks. Let me know if you're adding something to your box, if you're gonna add it to your like borrow list from the library, let me know all of the things. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet. So howdy. Good morning, everybody. Ooh, you'll have to let me know how it is. Oh, okay. Buddy read. I'm literally behind a pest control van while you're reading about itch. That's a sign I don't want. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, definitely do not. Okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have a great month. If you're watching this back after the live, let me know what you end up adding to your box. But everybody have a great Advent season. I do these every single month. I'm hoping to continue them in 2026. Book of the month usually drops towards the end of the month, and Aardvark is always on the first. So subscribe to my channel, and you shouldn't miss any of the lives. Okay, everybody have a great day. Bye.